So I kind of wanted to do a quick review of Senator Blackburn. Um, I can't really say she really questioned Kash Patel. She kind of more or less made statements the whole time, but definitely kind of wanted to review it. She talks about Jeffrey Epstein and RussiaGate, and so you know, it's Jeffrey Epstein, dog. So we definitely got to take a look at it. Um, and also RussiaGate. Um, Most people know that I've kind of known for a very long time RussiaGate was all kind of hogwash, and so we're going to pull up some of the evidence. I'll let you decide for yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Patel, there is absolutely no doubt that you have, and listening to their questions and your responses, which we appreciate, they know that you're going to go in and you're going to clean up that political cabal that has been over there for years. You are going to reposition the FBI to its core mission. You stated that earlier in this hearing, and there will be no more political persecutions and no more two tiers of justice. And they have liked having two tiers of justice. They have enjoyed it, and it has helped them. They think in their political mission, they've enjoyed targeting Catholics. They've enjoyed targeting parents. But the American people have said they want no more of that. And our colleagues know you're going to clean it up. I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking, sex trafficking ring. Now, earlier I urged then Chairman Durbin to subpoena those records, and I ended up being blocked by Senator Durbin and Christopher Wray. They stonewalled on this, and I know that breaking up these trafficking rings is important to President Trump. So will you work with me on this issue so we know who worked with Jeffrey Epstein in building these sex trafficking rings?
Absolutely, Senator. Child sex trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past and how we are going to countermand missing children and exploited children going forward.
Thank you for that. I do want to touch on the political persecution.
So definitely want to reference a book by Whitney Webb. So I definitely encourage everybody to get this two-volume series by Whitney Webb. I've obviously posted some stuff about her, but this literally is a sword union between intelligence and organized crime that gave the rise to Jeffrey Epstein. Um, so when you look at Jeffrey Epstein, he was part of Mossad. Um, I cannot spell her name, but yeah. But Ghislaine Maxwell was the daughter of Robert Maxwell. Um, uh, she's looking kind of rough over here. Um, for some odd reason, this nigga's still married to her. Um, Obviously, she was born in France. Uh, duh, 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 duh. She kind of met financier Jeffrey Epstein. They had a romantic relationship from the 90s. And then they remained close till 19. Um, Obviously, she was the madam for Jeffrey Epstein. Uh, Virginia Gouffre was one of the named John Does that was picked up by Ghislaine Maxwell. But what we really want to get to is her dad. So we are going to go over here. Robert Maxwell was obviously British intelligence and he was Mossad. Um, obviously, blah blah blah. Gotta definitely take a look at that. Um, ended up owning the Mirror Group newspaper. Um, obviously the Daily Mirror. Um, but obviously supported Israel. Um, definitely part of Israeli spying. But here we go. Here we go. The Foreign Office suspected Maxwell of being a secret agent of a foreign government, possibly a double agent or triple agent. Known links with British secret intelligence, MI6, KGB, and Mossad. Uh, and then, of course, one of the previous Yazik Shamir, Prime Minister of Israel, eulogized him and stated he has done more for Israel than today can be told. Um, so definitely Jeffrey Epstein had CIA ties. Um, um, obviously had a lot of this blackmail kind of political leaders, financiers, scientists, um, pretty much the affluent, the wealthy, the influencers, Hollywood and stuff. So if you really want to definitely get deeper into this, she gives a very, very detailed play by play how all this kind of transpired. Literally started with blackmail, um, with J. Edgar Hoover, the first director of the FBI, and how they kind of learned a lot of this stuff. And then it became literally um, pretty much, it became a whole, um, just kind of became more like child pedophilia. But one of the bigger financiers is Lex Wexner. Uh, don't get me started. I don't know how to spell none of these motherfuckers, these niggas' names. Um, huge, big money. Bath and Body Works retained Jeffrey Epstein as his financial manager from 87 to '07. Um, so obviously, some of the claims is that Jeffrey Epstein was like an economic hitman. Um, seems pretty legit. Obviously, big financial crimes. Um, hired him. Uh, granted Epstein power of attorney. Instituted him as a trustee on the board of the Wexner Foundation. Um, so obviously there was a Ohio State abuse scandal by some wrestlers from 19 to 2020. Um, so yeah, definitely want to take a look at this. We obviously know that Bill Clinton, there's actually just a lot of people who, either dealt with Jeffrey Epstein, he was around. Obviously, every person there can't be 100% guilty, but I do think that if you were there after his first charge out of Florida um, back in '08, then you know what you were dealing with. So you got Bill Gates, you got a lot of people involved in that. So definitely wanted to kind of bring that up for anybody who hasn't seen it.
I find it so interesting that they feel like you would carry out political persecution. Your parents are with us today. They fled Uganda and persecution from Idi Amin. And I think that with your background and given your family's history, that you would never move to political persecution. Is that accurate?
Yes, Senator, that is.
And we appreciate that you would remove any kind of 2 tiers of justice from the FBI because they have practiced that every day for years. Not all FBI agents. There are some good ones. And we certainly want to keep them, but the politics has got to be moved out of the agency. Now, they've tried to frame you as being anti-police. We've discussed that some today. And I know that you grew up working with NYPD officers in your community. And I know that law enforcement groups, including the National Association of Police Organizations, have endorsed your nomination. And on top of that, your brother is a law enforcement officer. Is that accurate?
Many of my family are, yes, Senator.
How many of your family, sir?
Well, I guess the Indians have a different definition of family. We got a really big one, and they're all family.
We all love big families.
So we got a lot.
I appreciate that. But it is accurate to say that in your role, you're going to do everything that you possibly can to protect the men and women who are protecting our communities.
That is of the utmost importance.
Thank you. I want to go to the Nunes memo. You were the principal author of the Nunes memo. Is that accurate?
Yes, me and staff.
Thank you. And that did really so much to focus the light on the RussiaGate hoax and the political cabal that was for years operated out of the DOJ and the FBI. And I know that there are some that felt like that memo was not accurate. We know now differently. And I'm quoting a comment that was made about that memo and by a member of that House Intel Committee, and I quote, "It was meant only to give Republican House members a distorted view of the FBI," end quote. I find it so interesting. They use the term distorted view. I think the American people who for 4 years under Biden saw the FBI weaponized against them, against parents, against people of faith, weaponized against President Trump. I think they would disagree with that. Do you stand by the good work that you did on the Nunes memo?
Our team, and yes, absolutely.
And the Nunes memo was accurate in its description of the details, correct?
As confirmed by the Inspector General, the Special Counsel, because the Nunes memo only contained sworn information received pursuant to transcribed interviews and production of government materials, including FBI 302s and DOJ memorandum.
So the Nunes memo is accurate.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that. In your new role as director, how will you work to root out 2 tiers of justice at the FBI?
The same way I have always done so, ma'am, with the utmost fidelity to the Constitution and integrity to law enforcement. Government must allow those who are privileged to serve to execute their law enforcement duties fully, but at the same time, the American people deserve accountability inwards to government, to any of those who violate that sacred trust.
And as you prepare to take this new role, what are the top areas of concern for you as we look at our national security?
The top areas when it comes to national security, ma'am, have remained unchanged and the threat dynamic has increased. It's thwarting terrorist activities and terrorist attacks here and overseas against our citizens and our allies. And it also includes CCP espionage, which is running rampant these last 5 years through our country, including our cyber infrastructure and our agricultural properties. And it also includes taking on Iran, the number one state sponsor of terror, and any other adversary that wishes to harm America.
Thank you. I look forward to a yes vote on your confirmation.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman. Senator.
So, kind of wanted to take a look at the Steele dossier. Christopher Steele is MI6 intelligence, um, well, counterintelligence, but still intelligence. Um, so, as I've always said, these people, former British intelligence officer MI6 from 87 to 2009. Obviously, after 2009, Donald Trump wasn't even running for president. So, this is 2015, 2016. So like I've always said, a lot of these people, they may have officially quit, but I mean, they're still plugged in. So, um, um, so we're gonna back up. The dossier was written from June um to December 2020, 2016, contains allegations of misconduct, conspiracy, and cooperation between Trump's presidential campaign and the Russian government prior to the 2016 election. Um, obviously, um, so it was based on information from initially anonymous sources known to the author, counterintelligence specialist Christopher Steele, and his primary subsource Igor Donachek, still a former head of the Russian desk for British intelligence, was writing the report for the private investigative firm Fusion GPS that was paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Convention. The dossier 17 reports alleged that Trump's campaign members and Russian operatives had conspired to cooperate in Russia's elections interference to benefit Trump. So, um, it was published by BuzzFeed on January 10th, 2017, without Steele's permission. The decision to publish the reports without verifying the allegations was criticized by journalists. However, a judge defended BuzzFeed's action on the basis that the dossier was part of an official proceeding and therefore protected by fair reporting privilege. Uh, The United States intelligence community and most experts have treated the dossier with caution due to its unverified allegations. While compiling the dossier, Steele passed his findings to both British and American intelligence services. The U.S. intelligence community took the allegations seriously, and the FBI, Bureau of Investigation, investigated every line of the dossier and identified and spoke with at least two of Steele's sources. The Mueller report contained passing references to some of the dossier's allegations, but little mention of his more sensational claims. Um, so obviously, um, definitely has, um, definitely has some issues when you're being paid by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Um, Uh, but so on Jan 17th, the chiefs of intelligence agencies, which is kind of weird, briefed President Barack Obama a couple days before the election, and Vice President Joe Biden about Russian interference in the election. Uh, Obviously, they received similar briefings. Um, James Comey, John Brennan, uh, NSA Director Mike Rogers, and then um, so boom, that is the beginning of it. So um, and then here we are. We go to the memo. So this is obviously done by the House Select Committee on Intelligence in 2018. Um, so this is the Nunes memo that she was referring to. Um, this obviously went to House Paul Ryan, Adam Schiff, unclassified by order of the president. Purpose of provide members of an update on significant facts relating to the committee's ongoing investigation to the DOJ, FBI, and FISA during the 2016 presidential cycle. Our findings raise concerns with the legitimacy and legality of certain DOJ FBI interactions with FISA, represent a troubling breakdown of legal processes established to protect the American people from abusers related to the FISA process. So obviously that's going to be one of um damn, that is going to be Tulsi Gabbard's problem. She was actually anti-FISA, but now in order just about everybody in Congress is pretty much pro-FISA for the most part. I'll probably say about a good 90% of pro-FISA. Um Due to sensitive nature of the foreign intelligence activity, FISA submissions, including renewal before are classified. So in the Carter page, the government had at least 4 independent opportunities before the FISA court to accurately provide an accounting of the relevant facts. However, our findings indicate that, as described below, material and relevant information was omitted. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele dossier on behalf of the DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign, formed an essential part of the Carter Page FISA application. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign via law firm Perkins Coie, and research from Fusion GPS and obtained derogatory information on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Neither the initial application in the 2016 nor neither renewals disclose or reference the role of the DNC. The initial FISA application notes Steele was working for a named U.S. person, but that does not name Fusion GPS principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by a U.S. law firm Perkins Coie representing the DNC, even though it was known by the DOJ at the time that political actors were involved with the Steele dossier. Um, Steele was suspended and terminated as an FBI source for what the FBI defines as the most serious violation and unauthorized disclosure to the media of relationship with the FBI in an October 30th, 2016 Mother Jones article by David Korn. Steele should have been terminated for his previous undisclosed contacts with Yahoo and other outlets in September before the page application was submitted to the FISA court in October, but still improperly concealed from and lied to the FBI about those facts. Steele's numerous encounters with the media violated the cardinal rule of source handling, maintaining confidentiality, and demonstrated that Steele had become a less than reliable source for the FBI. Um, Still admitted to Associate Deputy General Bruce Orr, senior DOJ official who worked closely with Deputy Attorney Generals Yates and later Rosenstein, was still admitted to Orr his feelings against then candidate Trump when Steele said he was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. This clear evidence of Steele's bias was recorded by Orr at the time and subsequently in FBI files, but not reflected in any of the page FISA application or his wife. But so you can keep going down, but according to the head of the FBI's counterintelligence division, Assistant Director Bill Priestap, corroboration of Steele dossier was in his infancy at the time of the initial page files application. After Steele was terminated, a source validation report conducted by independent unit within FBI's assessed Steele's reporting only as minimally corroborated. Yet in early January 17, Director Comey briefed President-elect Trump on the summary of the Steele dossier, even though it was, according to his June 17 testimony, salacious and unverified. While the FISA application relied on Steele's past record of credible reporting on the unrelated matters, it ignored or concealed his anti-Trump financial and ideological motivations. Furthermore, Deputy Director McCabe testified before the committee in December 2017 that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISA court without Steele dossier information. So, um, George Papadopoulos information triggered the opening of the FBI counterintelligence investigation in late July 2016 by FBI agent Pete Strzok. Strzok was resigned by Special Counsel's Office to FBI Human Resources for improper text messages with his mistress, FBI attorney Lisa Page. No known relation to Carter Page, were both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump in favor of Clinton, whom Strunk had also investigated. Uh, so, um, the Strzok Lisa Page text also reflected extensive discussion about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, and included meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. So obviously, there's obviously a lot of shit that kind of goes on against Trump. I mean, we all know he's not. I mean, he's got his issues. So, uh, and obviously, there's a lot of stuff that I don't care for Trump on. I wish he was more pro worker. Wish he was more pro union. I wish that he, wanted higher wages. Hopefully that comes true, but we'll see. But at the same time, a lot of this stuff, was all over MSNBC. Rachel Maddow was a big proponent of the RussiaGate, RussiaGate, RussiaGate. So, just be careful when watching different news sources. Make sure that you can pull this stuff up and take a look at it. But as I said, I highly recommend this book. Obviously, there's volume two, but yeah, this, here you got Roger Cohen, um, Trump's mentor, um, all this stuff, Mayor Lansky, Lucky Luciano. If you're a big fanatic of um, mob stuff, definitely take a look at it. But yeah, obviously, I don't know if Kash Patel is actually going to release those documents. They implicate a lot of people in DC. They implicate a lot of other nations and a lot of other, intelligence agencies, domestically and around the world, different agents and stuff. So I hope he does. It'll be amazing. Not necessarily that I want to see the videos, but if they can just kind of show some clippets of the videos without the sex part, just letting us know who's in these rooms, you know, obviously you want to protect, you know, a lot of these women, these young girls. Well, they're probably women now, but these young girls, you definitely want to protect them. Not everybody wants to be associated, with these acts and what kind of happened. So, that's why a lot of them do kind of have the Jane Doe kind of thing. What's her name? Uh, oh, that's Robert Maxwell. Um, definitely don't want to say her name correctly. Um, who's the, who's the lady? She's a lady now. Yeah, Virginia Giuffre. She's obviously doesn't care about being known. Um, but there's obviously other women who don't. So, but like I said, take a look at, the Russia interference stuff. There's a lot of questionable stuff kind of trailing that. And obviously you definitely want to take a look at this book. Um, and we'll see what Kash Patel does about that. Who knows? So y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Peace.